Today's video is sponsored by Safeline. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a self-hosted web application firewall, and the name of that is going to be Safeline. And it is a great firewall to use for a home lab. So scroll down here a little bit, it gives us a visual of what this is going to do for us. So on the internet, of course, you've got legitimate users and you've got attackers. If you don't have a firewall in place, those attackers can get to your web application if it's internet facing. So what we want to do is we want to put the firewall in place. Our regular users can still access our web application, but the attackers, they can get as far as the firewall, and then the firewall will kick them out. So I'm going to run through the install real quick, get this set up, and at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a sample code injection. We'll get to see where the web application firewall actually blocks that. So to get started, we're going to update our indexes and get the prereqs. And this is just a blog on my website. I'll leave it in the description so you can follow along. We're going to create the directory for the official keys. We're going to download the official GPG key for Docker and then add the official repository. Then we're going to install the Docker engine and the Compose plugin, and then we're going to make sure that it's active once that download finishes up. Okay, that did complete, so now we'll go ahead and make sure that it's active, and it is. So we'll go ahead and proceed to step 2. We're just going to create its own folder where it can execute from. So we're just going to paste that in. We're going to put that in data Safeline, and now we need to make our user a owner of that directory, otherwise we wouldn't be able to CD into it. Okay, you can see we've CD'd into data Safeline. Let's go ahead and go to step 3. We're going to download the Docker Compose YAML file. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into data Safeline, and let's just inspect this with the text editor real quick. The main thing here is we want to look at what ports are being used. So I'm just going to do a Control F for search, and then come down here to ports, and I can see 9443. That's fine. So we are free to proceed. Okay, now we're going to go back into our Safeline directory, which we're already there. We're going to generate a secret and store that into its own variable, so we never have to copy and paste the password. We actually are never going to know what that password is, so it's very secure. We're going to create the environment configuration file, and then we're going to populate that environment file, and then we want to validate and launch the service. That gives us our configuration that we just configured. And I can see our subnet did pass through there. So now we'll go ahead and do a Docker Compose pull. That's going to pull down all of our containers that we need to make this operational. And then once that's done, we will launch Safeline in detach mode. And what detach mode means is once we run this, we don't have to leave the terminal open for the Docker container to stay live. It's detached from our terminal. All right, and then we want to verify that the container is up and running. We do that with Docker Compose PS, and we can see the containers are running. They've been up 13 seconds ago. And then we just want to check the logs, paste that in. And the way to do that is Docker Compose log-f, and we'll tail the last 50 logs. All right, it's server ready. Good deal. So now once running, access the Safeline management console, and we'll put this in. So I'll just go to my terminal and paste that in. I'm just going to change this to localhost. And you're greeted with a software license agreement. Go ahead and click agree. And now you'll notice we need a username and a password, right? So we switch back over to our guide here. And I'm not going to do this for the video, but if you want to use uncomplicated firewall, these are the 2 commands you could add. So we want to obtain our admin credentials. So we need to run this command right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C out of the logs. I'm just going to paste in this command so we can get that password. And you can see here the username is admin. I'm just going to copy the password there. Go back to our console, type in admin, and then put in your password. And for the demonstration purpose, I'm just going to go ahead and save that into the browser just so I've got it. You'll want to securely save that in your password manager if you have one. Close that down, and let's expand out our console here. And one thing we'll do right off the bat, go under settings and then scroll down to the bottom. And this is the telemetry that's turned on by default. If you want to disable that, you just uncheck these 3 boxes and it saves automatically as you're unchecking them. Okay, and one thing I left out of the article, I'm going to need to create a dummy server. And then this is the command we're going to use as a line injection test. I'll include this in the blog before the video posts just so you have that to follow along. But we're just going to spin up a dummy web application. Okay, and then in our console, we'll go to applications and expand this out. Add an application. We don't have HTTPS. We're going to test this over HTTP. If you've got an SSL cert, you could do that, but I don't for the demonstration purposes. So we'll do HTTP, and what was it, 000, but the upstream port is 8080. And the application name, we'll just do test. Go ahead and create that. Okay. Then we can shrink that over again and stay in the console. Pull up our markdown file. This is the sample attack that a hacker may use to do a command line injection. So we'll press enter on that. You can see we get back a bunch of gobbledygook basically. So I'll minimize the terminal. We'll go back into our Web Application Firewall. It's constantly monitoring per second, so we'll give it some time, and we'll go under attacks, under the logs, and you can see where it blocked the command line injection. And obviously this is a test, right? It's coming from 127.0.0.1. That's localhost. But in a real world scenario, that will show the hacker's IP address or the hacker's VPN most likely. So yeah, just a quick example of how that would work. And you go back to the application, one request has been blocked. And in the main dashboard here, we see that as well. Okay, and if you wanted to try a 7-day free trial, I'll leave the link in the description how to do that. But you just go to their main page here, go to Contact Us. When this contact form pops up, you just want to select Web Application Firewall, and you can let them know that you watched my video and you're wanting a 7-day free trial. And that's going to do it for today's video. I hope the video was helpful. Here are some other videos you might find helpful as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.